Hi guys, what's up? This is going to be a review of Decisions by Diamonds to Dust. Now I want to break this review up into 6 different categories. This is more categories than I usually do, but it just worked out this way. So the first category is going to be about the history of the band. The second thing is going to be about the tangibles of the band. The third thing is going to be about the writing process of the band. The fourth thing is going to be about the hows and the whys of the album. The fifth thing is going to be about the spirituality of the band, and the sixth thing is going to be about the ratings. So with that out of the way, let's get into the history of the band. The members of the band are Barry Hogu, who plays rhythm guitar and does clean vocals, Melvin Hogu, who does drums and samples, Christian Roach, who does vocals, Brandon Whittaker, who does bass and clean vocals, and Brandon Zablocki, who does lead guitar. As far as the genre of this release, I would say it is deathcore with some metalcore influences. The band members are from different parts of Dutchess County, but the band is generally based out of Poughkeepsie, New York. Getting into the actual history of the band now, there's a long and drawn out history when it comes to the band due to numerous lineup changes, so I'll keep it short. Melvin and Barry started the band. Every release has had a different lineup. That's where the drastic changes in sound originate from in Diamonds to Dust. By the time the fourth album, Conservation of the Spirit, came out, it would be just Melvin and Barry left in the band as original members. After the success of Conservation of the Spirit, they decided to recruit Christian Roach. You first hear him on the single Diamond Pierced Eyes. Later on, Brandon Zablocki rejoined the band from the original lineup, and Brandon Whittaker also was recruited on bass. Let's get into the tangibles about the band. The band started making music in 2014, which is when the release of their first album, Faith Through Trials, came out. Christian, the vocalist's musical background started when he was 3 years old, as his mother was a piano teacher. So he learned piano and some music theory from her as a kid. When he got older, he played flute in school band. He also participated in the New York State Music Association and did okay there. He started doing harsh vocals at about 13 years old, and he dropped musical instruments for good. Diamonds to Dust is not really a touring band. However, they have played in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. They say once the pandemic is over, they want to expand to other states to sort of make it a more regional band rather than just a New York band. As far as influences, they say they are Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, Silent Planet, Shadow of Intent, Killswitch Engage, August Burns Red, Amity Affliction, Ocean's 8 Alaska, Nile, The Contortionist, Pantera, and Necrophagist. Now let's get into the writing process. They say they just write what comes out. They write several songs instrumentally and then pick the tracks that flow together cohesively. They usually write the lyrics and decipher what the theme is after writing the music. The band says it's just easier to write the lyrics after the instrumentals are done, not just from an inspirational standpoint, but from a timing standpoint as well. Barry generally writes about 85% of the material, whether that's instruments or the lyrics. Christian has been contributing to the writing process a lot more. Christian wrote the lyrics to The Devil's Forge, Demon Slayer, and Corpus Christi. He plans to write many more songs. The band says they draw the lyrics from their faith and experiences, both positive and negative. Since Christian is a Catholic, it brings in some contrast to what Barry writes, and they feel that they are better because of it. Now let's get into the how and the why of the album. When it comes to writing Decisions, they already had 2 songs that were similar in tone. They wanted this to be a cohesive project like their previous EP, Faith of Desires. They wanted to go a more melodic deathcore or deathcore route, and I think they achieved this. They say their goal is to have a consistent flow of music for their fans. They also just love making music and spreading their faith and experiences through it. As far as the message of the EP, when it comes to a person's spirituality, or when it comes to a person's everyday life, there are choices, and whether positive or negative, there are consequences. The band says they unanimously picked Suicide Is Also Silence as the best song on the EP. They started writing Decisions just after the release of Dissonant Truth in April of 2020. Once they have a release scheduled, they try and immediately start writing the next thing. Now let's get into the spirituality of the band. The band says it may or may not surprise people, but we don't really talk about our faith much when we are together. That's not to say if anyone needs prayer or someone to confide in, we wouldn't offer it. It's just that your walk with Christ is your walk. They continue. There is no judgment when it comes to us. Everyone is at different stages, and that's okay. If one falls, we pick each other up because that's what our faith is about. It's nothing about pointing out someone's sins and shaming them with it. It's about walking the straight and narrow and showing love and compassion. Barry adds, we have a member who is still collecting knowledge on the subject, so he hasn't really decided if he believes in the band, and we show him just as much love and respect as he does the same to us, because at the end of the day, we are called to love one another. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, and your neighbor the same. They conclude, so to answer the question, spiritually we are united with that unity. We are able to show that we can spread the word, but also our experiences because we are far from perfect. As far as denomination is concerned, Christian is Catholic, Barry, Melvin, and Whitty are non-denominational Christians. Brandon is still collecting knowledge, so he doesn't want to give an answer just yet. Now let's get into the ratings, shall we? So I want to say first off that the first song I heard from this EP was Corpus Christi, and I was really impressed by what I heard. And I was thinking to myself, if they do a full EP of something like this, it's going to be amazing. Now, I'm happy to say that they didn't really disappoint too much. Everything they made was fairly in line with that one song. Overall, I've really enjoyed listening to this thing. If you're a fan of deathcore, or even metalcore I would say, or even just extreme metal, I think you're really going to like this release. Now let's get into the categories. For the rhythm and weight of the notes, the rhythm of sounds is polished, throbbing, and aggressive. The lyrics to the music are perfectly proficient. The noise or sounds is enticing and exuberant. The heavier lightness is monstrous, thick, and goes hard. The rhythm in a general sense is syncretic and elevating. Total for this is 2.3 out of 2.5, their best category. For the notes in light of the depth, the complexity is atmospheric and full tone. The composition is beautiful and clear. The layers are orchestral and compelling. The progression or climaxing is perfectly satisfying, and the notes in a general sense are unorthodox in a good way and provocative. Total for this is 2.1 out of 2.5. Good category. For the depth in terms of the listenability, the synergy is rehearsed and engaging. The production is perfectly tasteful. The atmosphere is dark and heavy. The genre, whether defining or not, is right in line with some originality mixed in, and the depth in a general sense is captivating and memorable. The total for this is 2 out of 2.5. Good category. For the listenability in terms of the rhythm, the flow from one song to the next is perfectly proficient. The speed is allegro with some andante breakdowns. The predictability is impressively predictable while keeping you on your toes. The groove is orchestral and engaging. The listenability in a general sense is average. The total for this is 2 out of 2.5. So there you go guys, that's going to put it at an 8.4 out of 10. If you're into extreme metal of any kind, I would recommend picking this up. Well, that was my review for Decisions by Diamonds to Dust. Thanks for watching guys. Talk to you later. Bye.